What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel Cephalo-Ed. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about our hot topic, the Nautilus. But before I get into our hot topic, I want to talk to you guys about something that I don't know how I forgot to mention last week. But I want to tell you guys a quick little story about a time when I encountered an octopus. And this time was extremely incredible. There's so much words about this, so I hope you guys just enjoy this little story because I'm very passionate about this, and it was probably the best time of my life. So, like what I said, I hope you guys enjoy this little story. So, it was about 3 years ago. I went to go see my best friend Sai at Boston Aquarium, and she brought me and my parents to, well, behind the scenes to the giant Pacific octopus. And at this time, the octopus was named Sai the Octopus. And obviously it was named after Sai Montgomery. And so we went behind the scenes, and before Sai opened up the lid of the tank, my emotions were just everywhere because I've never been able to encounter with an octopus, and I've loved these things since I was 3 years old. So I was like almost ready to like cry as soon as she opened that lid, and I was so excited and happy, and I was actually starting to shake a little bit from the excitement. And as soon as she opened that lid, I have no words for how I felt. It was just amazing. And so Sai put her hand in the water, and the octopus came up and started to interact with her and taste her skin and feel her skin. And then she invited me to come next to her to feel the octopus. And when I did that, I basically cried inside. It was absolutely amazing. And so I put my hand in the water. So I didn't want to really disturb her by just like shoving my hand in the water and try and pet her. I wanted to be nice and calm so you can get used to the smell of me in the water, so she'll be able to come to me. And so I put my hand in the water. I let my son get into the water, and so she could smell me. And then a few seconds later, she started to crawl up the tank, and she wrapped her arm around my hand. And this was just outstanding. It was awesome. The arm wrapped around my hand like a snake, and you can feel the suction cups. You can feel the intelligence of this magnificent, beautiful animal tasting and smelling me and feeling the texture of my skin. And it was truly remarkable because the suckers, they had like their own minds. They were just moving wherever they wanted to. And it almost felt like a massage, and that was probably one of the weirdest parts because I didn't think that at first that it would feel like a massage, but it was truly remarkable. And after a few minutes playing out with Sai inside the octopus, I had both of my arms in the water. I was just interacting with her. I was talking to her. I absolutely was just living the moment right there. And there's one time she was looking, she turned her head, and so I started to look into her eye, and she was looking at me, and honestly, it felt like a long-lost friend. It was so incredible. And I just stood there just looking at her, and she looked at me right back, and it was like sounds weird, but it's like we understood each other. It was outstanding. And I'm sorry, there's just so much words to explain. It's just like infinite amount of words. But it was just so remarkable, and it was just crazy. And then I went back there, I think a year later, when Sai the Octopus was still there, and this just truly just made me go wow, because the second time I went there, when Sai opened the lid, um, Sai the octopus was literally on top of the tank. She like sensed that I was coming, and it just truly opens up your eyes on how incredible these animals are. And when I went to the tank, and when she was right there, I just put my hands there, and she was just like, it's like she missed me, and obviously I missed her. She was incredible, and it was just awesome. And so I just really wanted to share that story with you guys, because I just feel it's a truly remarkable story, and I feel like it really opens more eyes to people, I hope, because a lot of a lot of people might think that octopuses are these giant krakens that just want to eat you and kill you, but that's not the true story. Octopuses, they are harmless animals. All they want to do is they're curious. They want to learn you. They want to observe, and they don't want to wrap you and just kill you and eat you. That's not their purpose. They're amazing animals, and they're so intelligent. They don't want to kill you at first. Like what I said, they just want to observe and be curious, and like us, when humans learn a new thing, you just want to learn. You don't want to instantly go into action with violence or anything. You just want to learn what you are looking at, and that's basically all what octopuses are doing. So I hope you guys enjoy that story, because I love that time, and it was the best time of my life. I felt like a little kid. And here's a quick video of Sai the Octopus for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of her.
Here we are, Gary, petting an octopus. Absolutely amazing. It's Sai Montgomery, right? Sai Montgomery, wonderful woman, gave us back tour. It doesn't get much better than this. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
But let's get into our good friend, the Nautilus. All right, here we go, guys. So the Nautilus. So the Nautilus is basically it is the old fart of cephalopods. So they are the old of the old, I guess. So let's talk about the origin of the Nautilus. So Nautilus arose about 420 million years ago with their relatives, the ammonites. And this is when their diversity was fairly large. So ammonites are very, very close to Nautilus. Or I should say, Nautilus are very, very close to ammonites. But ammonites are a little bit different than nautiloids, because ammonites then they could grow in huge numbers, and their shells could get really big, like a huge diameter. I don't remember how big the biggest one they have found of an ammonite, but it is huge. And yeah, so that's basically what I want to talk about the ammonites about then. Nautilids have survived all major mass extinctions: Ordovician, Devonian, Permian, Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. So during the Cretaceous extinction, all the Nautilus went extinct during that time. But this part here is what makes me really love Nautilus so much, and what makes them so interesting. These guys are like little tanks, because they have survived all these extinctions, and even though during these extinctions their population went down drastically, but they came back, they reproduced, and they came back in huge numbers, which I think is actually just truly remarkable with these animals. It's awesome. And a lot of people say that Nautilus are to be considered a living fossil. So yes, they basically are a living fossil, but this is debated from a lot of scientists, because even though their shell is still the same as it was millions of years ago, their internals or biology could have changed over that time. So this is what scientists really debate about, because the water levels really changed back then, and nautiloids are they live kind of in shallow waters. They live in shallow waters near, and also near the mesopelagic zone, which is basically the twilight zone. And so during these millions of years, the water levels could have changed, the atmosphere could have changed, so, and then they probably could have went down in deeper levels of water. And so this could have changed their biology a little bit to adapt and evolve to these new environments of the ocean changing. So that is one thing why this is living fossils kind of debated, is because of, we don't know if their biology is still the same from back then. So it's truly insane, I think, actually. And so now let's get into the biology of nautilus. So nautilus are the only cephalopod to have a very long lifespan. So the lifespan is about 20 years. So for the first 15 years of their lives, they are juvenile, which is pretty insane. That is a lot of time of trying to mature. And then for another 5 years, they reach maturity. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy cow. And it's really interesting how these guys live the longest. I'm not really sure why they live the longest, but it's really interesting. And like Colieods, nautilus use the same mechanism as jet propulsion. So they do this by, they have a funnel, but they have this thing called a hyphenome. And this hyphenome, like what I said, performs the same function as jet propulsion, but like this, they're able to move around in different directions and stuff. And it's really unique and exquisite. And unlike its relatives, the Colieods, which Colieods mean octopus, squid, and cuttlefish, it's only those particular cephalopods. The nautilus is able to reproduce more than once. Now, this is what makes nautilus so different than its relatives, because its relatives, basically, their main thing is life is only to reproduce. And octopus, squid, cuttlefish can only reproduce once. And these nautilus, they can reproduce multiple times. And so when they lay eggs, they can lay roughly about 12 eggs a year. So they reproduce basically sounds like once a year, and then they'll lay 12 eggs. And nautilus have about roughly 90 tentacles. So unlike Colieods, these tentacles do not have suckers on them, but they have like this interesting little I don't remember what it was. It's like this stickiness on their tentacles, so they're able to, unlike suction cups, stick onto them. They're able to just the tentacles are able to stick onto them. So it's really cool. So for now, not for now, right now, I am going to show you guys the anatomy of this beautiful and magnificent animals. So right here, guys, I did a little drawing of a nautilus. So this shell, I actually got the shell last year at Cape Cod. I go on vacation there about every single year, and I go to Provincetown. There's a cool little fish store, and they have a whole bunch of nautilus shells, and I bought a nautilus shell that was split into 3 pieces, and you're able to see the two sides of the shell, and in the middle, the cool chambers inside of it. So, like what I did last week with the octopus, we're going to start with the tentacles. So, I already talked about the tentacles. So, they have no suckers, and they basically have this little sticky stuff on the tentacle, so they're able to just stick on. And so, the octopus has obviously an eye, but what makes this eye so different is it has a pinhole eye. And I don't know much about the eye, but it's really interesting why they have a pinhole eye. It's pretty unique. And right above the eye, they have this thing called a hood. And this hood's kind of like they're able to bring this hood into the shell, which is really cool. It's like it's kind of like a snail a little bit. They're able to bring themselves in their shell with that and stuff. I don't know much of the hood either, but it's really awesome. Now let's get inside here. So right here, this is their upper beak and lower beak. And just like their relatives, the Colieods, they do have a radula. Because if they didn't have a radula, their brain could get punctured from big chunks of food. And I apologize for the brain. Not much here is too accurate drawing of the anatomy of a nautilus. So right here, this is their brain. So the brain is shaped as a donut. And then their anatomy is kind of exactly like squids and octopuses, almost exactly the same. It's just for nautilus, it's a bit more combust. And so this food will go down to the crown. And it'll go into here, and you got I forgot to label that down, but this is the stomach right here. Got the cecum, and then this is going to go down into the intestines. And you got the heart right here. And from research I have done about the nautilus, I have not found the bronchial hearts for the lungs. So I think from what I have seen and researched, a nautilus only has one heart, and it's laid all the way back here at the back of the mantle over here. And so then the food will go down here, and the anus is actually laid up here. So yeah, my drawing isn't exactly accurate, but this is the spot where the anus will be. And what's really interesting, it's weird, the anatomy of where the lungs are for the nautilus, because the lungs are like right in the funnel. It's really interesting. And then right below the intestine, obviously you got the heart right here, and right here you got that small little kidney. And above that, like what I mentioned last class about the gonad, this is where you're able to identify if it's a female or a male. So the gonad is the part where you're able to see the testes, so that will tell you if it's a male. Or if you open it up too, you will also find ovaries for eggs and fertilization. So that will obviously tell you that that is a female. And then up here, you got your digestive system. It's pretty, it's a pretty simple body, honestly. It's like the octopus. The cephalopods have a very simple anatomy, but their nervous systems are very complex. And in the shell, this is really interesting. So these parts right here, this is called the septa or septae. They are the little dividers that separate the chambers. And inside you'll see these weird, interesting little tubes. These are called the siphuncle, I think that's how they pronounce it. But these are special tubes these are special tubes that allow liquid to go inside of these chambers. And now from this liquid go into these chambers, this helps the nautilus control its buoyancy. So if you guys don't know what buoyancy is, it helps animals such as nautiloids help control what height and depth they want to go in the ocean. So it's absolutely incredible how they're able to bring this liquid into these chambers to give them buoyancy. It's truly remarkable. So that is what I have for today, guys, about nautilus. And So overall, they are truly magnificent animals. Pretty simple with their anatomy. It's really cool. And oh, forgot one thing. This is the tongue too. It's really cool. Okay, sorry, I got distracted again. But recap, they're pretty simple animals, and they are pretty related to their relatives, but there are some differences in their body, how the anatomy is a little set up because they're a little more complex, how their tentacles don't have suction cups, and that's kind of it for the Nautilus. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure did. And if you guys have like any questions about like cephalopods, I would love to try and answer them for you and help you guys out. So please just put a comment down below about anything, or even maybe put down a comment on what your favorite cephalopod is. You don't have to be specific on whatever cephalopod, but if you guys know what cephalopod is, you guys want to be specific, put down their scientific name and stuff. That'd be really cool. And maybe even say why this is your favorite cephalopod. I'd like to know more about your interest about these cephalopods and why you like them. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and before we go, most of all, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And also, we are almost at 100 subscribers, guys. That is fantastic. So if you hit that subscribe button, that would be truly amazing, and I would really appreciate it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a fantastic day, guys.